You know, something that I feel like Christians are not ready to hear is that as they go to church and they listen to these pastors, and the pastors preach to them the word and gives them a message, gives them a sermon. But what a lot of Christians do not do, trust me, listen, I grew up Christian, Pentecostal Christian, so I've seen this with my own two eyes. This is why I became spiritual. Is that the Christians, what they do is they rely on another person, their pastor, to bring them all of the answers. Okay? They go based off of what their pastor is saying, and they never question or never even have any type of skepticism about what they heard in church. They don't do their own research. They don't test the spirit. A lot of them, they go to church, and the only time they really open up their Bibles, the only time they ever really open this Bible up is when it's time to, when it's in sermon, and they're like, okay, please turn to Job chapter 40. That's what I just opened up to. Okay, maybe somebody needs to hear that message. That's what I opened up to randomly. But yes, they say, okay, turn to Job chapter 40. Let's read that scripture. And that's the only time they ever really open up the Bible. Because do you ever see them reading their Bible when they come home from church? Do you ever see them reading their Bible throughout the rest of the week? No, you don't. Do you see them living the word? No, you don't. So they think just because they do something in a building that all of a sudden that makes them more holier than thou than everybody else? No. Another thing that they don't do is that they may hear something that the pastor tells them, but they don't go to God with what they heard. They don't ask God, okay, well, what does this fully mean? And you want to know the biggest reason, and something that Christians are not ready to hear, is that your pastors did not teach you how to hear the voice of God. They did not tell you how to do that. They did not tell you what voice to listen to. They did not tell you how to discern which voice to listen to. They didn't even teach you how you can set yourself up in a position to actually hear God's voice. They don't tell you you need to go into the quiet place. They don't tell you you need to go into solitude. You need to go into silence. You need to sit with yourself, and you need to allow thoughts to come to you. You need to call on God, and you need to wait until you hear God's voice. They don't tell you that God's voice is very calm. It's very peaceful. It's going to feel warm. It's going to feel like love pouring through you. It's going to make your body feel at ease and at peace. 222 on my clock, as I said that. But the voice of the enemy is going to be loud. It's going to be rowdy. It's going to be obnoxious. And it's going to cause a lot of chaos within you. It's not going to make you feel at ease. If you hear a thought and it starts to make your stomach churn, that's the voice of the enemy. If you hear a thought and it brings you peace and it brings you ease, that's how you know that's the voice of God. But they don't tell you this. So what happens is, because Christians don't know how to hear the voice of God, they be hearing voices, and it's the enemy talking to them, and they have no idea. They so brainwashed, they have no idea that the enemy is talking to them, and they're actually listening to the enemy.